Grand rising with the Rising Show with EMPRESSELLAGEE. It's good to be alive. It's good to be throbbing and thriving and pulsating. And it sounds a little obscene, but it's just being alive, life force. How are you doing this morning? This Grand Rising.
Rising.
Good morning all the time.
Grand Rising, Brother Lance. Grand Rising.
Talk to me.
I am feeling wonderful. Can you tell? I woke up and I'm feeling good. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for health. You know, everything works, I think. Some things haven't been tested this morning, but
well, me, man, I can say today everything works, but I hope things work tomorrow just like they work today.
Exactly. Hello, everyone, whomever is here. Yvonne, hi. How are you, my dear? Good to see you. I see Eric has, I don't know if he's here now, but he started early.
Yeah,
10 hours ago. Hi, Synovia. Hello, love. How's everything going? Good to see you.
Yes.
Brother Lance, how are you?
No, I feel good. You know, I'm very happy with the workflow. I'm very happy with the momentum. I'm very happy with the connection that we have with our family here. I can say in cyberspace, but it's better than cyberspace. It is that connection, but it's beyond that. I feel a spiritual connection to so many of our family here, and it's wonderful. And I can't express how happy I am about that, because you have people who get online and they throw stuff out. They put out content and they say, here, take it or leave it. You know, they don't have that connection. And I have connections with folks over the years, and you know, some folks who have come and gone, whatever. That was nice too while it lasted, but we forge forward and the enthusiasm never wanes. And that's the beautiful part about it, that it's a big world out here. And me, myself, I would never wish doom on anybody, but doom has been wished on me. And I'm like, how could you do that when the world is so vast? People like dislike you or want to be in your position or whatever that may mean, but it's a big world out here. You know, there's millions and billions of people out here, you know, and it's wonderful. I just want to give a big shout out to Dr. Kang. We spoke in depth yesterday, and he has a acquaintance out there with him from Ghana right now, a very beautiful young lady who's going to be coming on to the show. She's a healer on so many different fronts, but even just to see what she looks like the minute that she stepped in front, because we did a video chat, the minute she stepped in front of the screen, and it wasn't a lust beauty thing. It could have gone that way. Most men would do that, but you saw her spirit. You saw how pure she was. Now, I'm not saying she's a saint. I just met her. What I'm saying is that, of course, she's aware of the negative things out here in the world, but you can see just from her spirit, just from how and we spoke for a few minutes, just you can see that didn't stop her. You can see that she came through things, but you can see that she didn't allow those negative things out there to have the victory over her, to make her bitter. And she's there. And on the physical level, the teeth and the skin, chocolate rich skin. I could not believe. I've never saw anything like that in life. I've seen it before. We've all seen it. But like that, standing there while Dr. Kang talked, and then she was vibrating so high. And as soon as I saw her, I went into my little rant like, listen, you're glowing. I'm just meeting you right now, but you're vibrating high. You see, you can see these things when you have a lot of time for meditation, a lot of time to be by yourself. Don't think that you need to run and go to the club and girl, let me find out the gossip and all of this stuff. Be still, be still, be still, and things come to you. Sometimes you want to run down spiritual ascension, but you need to be still and let it come to you. How do you think the animals get it? They get their downloads to know what to do, and they get their upgrades daily on how to survive in what the people call the wilderness. And that's a beautiful thing.
Exactly.
Am I ranting? I think I am.
You ranted already, but that's beautiful. That's awesome. No, that's quite okay. Let me just say a quick hi, We Life. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Good to see you. I'm glad you're able to make this live. Hi, Romy. All is well. I'm doing well. Hi, Emmanuel. Hi, Superman. Blah blah. Good to see you. Everybody else. That's beautiful. I can't wait to see this young lady, Brother Lance. Did he disappear?
I stepped away for one split second to
know
get
you did. I
that
know.
last thing because I'm thirsty. I forgot. I was water next to me, and I know you greeted everybody. Then you said something.
Yeah,
about Brother
Romy
Lance.
says hi. How are you?
Yes.
Hi, Brother Raw. Yes.
Yeah, but
No, I was saying I can't wait to see this young lady. When you
anything
bring
yet.
her on.
That's how bad I feel in a good way. You know, the ghetto bad.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah. So where do we start in
Where
our
do we
reading?
start in our reading?
This is an actual aspect of it that you chose. I'm rolling with you, but you know I'm going to rant in there too.
You're the one that's doing all the ranting. I just gave you a topic to work with.
I'm just pulling you in on my.
You're not throwing it off on me.
Anyway, I just want to apologize ahead of time for all the noise that seems to happen next door to me when the time comes for the show. It's like everybody's ready for it. And okay, kids, start banging on pieces of wood and screaming and crying. You know, sometimes I have to say this, that it's a shame that, and it's not because it's not America, but, you know, certain things go on all over the world with abuse of children, and to the parents, sometimes it's okay. And I don't mean extreme abuse. I'm seeing something sexual happen or something where a person's catching a beat down. But sometimes here, and, you know, we glorify the motherland, but there are a lot of things that happen over here just the same as it happens over there in America or in the UK. And I think sometimes, you know, who am I to judge? But judging is when you don't know. When you assess something, it's when you do know. And morally, there are parents here sometimes that are a little heavy-handed with their children. You know, there are parents here sometimes that look at their children as workhorses and go out and get the water, go out on the field and do this, go out.
Right.
And they're not getting the nurturing. I'm not saying this is everyone here, but I see it hurts me because I wasn't raised that way. There's things I had to do. It wasn't like, okay, we're giving you everything. You can sit up in your room and watch TV and play games and all this. No, it wasn't like that. There's things I had to do, but this balance. And here where, again, I'm not damning a whole nation. I'm just saying that there are more nooks and crannies for little things to happen beyond the scope of authorities who may want to step in and help. But when you look sometimes, some places there are not authorities who can step in and help. So, you know, that's the sad part. You know, there are a lot of things over the next few years that I'll be sharing of what I see and why people can be the way that they are. But, you know, children in certain periods of their life need the nurturing. They need to be disciplined, of course, but they need to be handed something that they can feast on, because at certain parts of their life, in the single digit ages, they sponge up more than ever before as far as learning is concerned. And because now we can feed it to them, they can absorb it faster than we can feed it to them with each subsequent generation. So we have to be aware of all the experiences that we allow them to have, or that we indirectly don't realize are not good for them. We have to be, those first 10 years, I mean, your whole life. I mean, because you're not going to to them in 11 years or 12 years, but 7, 10, whatever. Those early years are very, very important. And this helps to shape how you view the world, because your mold is very soft and it's being molded, you know, and it's just very important. And there's some things that I see sometimes that say, hey, you don't do that. But it's business as usual, because sometimes when you're very, very poor and you need to do things. You want to get all hands on deck. Yeah, sure, for the kids to help, but where's the balance? Where's the education? How are you taking the time to get a book? You can get a book. You can ask for a book. You know, we ask for food, we ask for money. You can go somewhere and get a book and sit down and read with your children, because see, now when they get older, they may not have the desire to pick up a book or not understand what that's all about to educate themselves. You know, for me coming up, it was books. Now it's books and downloadable books and the internet and searching things, which is not as effective as a book. But what I'm saying is that my mother and my father did also, but my mother was more hands-on with this because she was also an educator. Right. She made me read for an hour every day. Okay. And then she made me have another hour of quiet time where, not that I wasn't allowed to read, but you sit there and you stay to your thoughts. It was almost like learn how to meditate. She didn't say it that way, but it's like, be quiet, be still. You can walk in the backyard. You can go sit on it. It wasn't any punishment. It was, I want you to understand and make you feel how advantageous it is to spend time with yourself.
Right.
And so that's what I learned with the drawing and the writing when I was in those single digit ages, and the joy of being with oneself and being able to meditate. It gave me a jump start on everybody else. And that's why I can remember so many things, because my filters were always kept clean. It wasn't just keep clogging it up, cartoons, and keep clogging it up with just running around up and down the street. No, and she allowed me to go out and play, and she gave me a lot of freedom, more than others, because it was balanced. And so I thank them both for that. But this is what we need to do and understand. We need to set these practices in motion with our children, because that's what's going to cause them to be the adults that they're going to be. Exactly. You know, later on in life, we can be bitter and angry, and my parents worked me. We used to get up at 5 in the morning. It's good. That's good. That discipline is good. But where's the balance? And so for me, this is what allows me to flow so easily, because I know when it's time to back off. Just like, you know, when it's time, like I had enough to eat, it's time to back off. I love the food. I wish I can force down 5 more bites, but we need to keep our filters unclogged.
Exactly.
And to let thirst to learn, a thirst for knowledge, a thirst to be better, a thirst to see themselves in the whole scope of the world, not just do this, do that, and you're a tool. Make them see the value in themselves, and make them see the value that they have for the world, and that they have something to offer to the world. So they have the healthy esteem, instead of getting bitter when they're older and resentful and they're trying to knock somebody off of their own throne.
There you go.
Because we all have a throne, we all have a place, we all have a destiny in an area of expertise to master. But if you're hung up with all these idiosyncrasies, you're not going to get there.
Yes, indeed.
You're not going to get there. You got to untangle the knot.
That's true.
And then one more thing, if I give you a knotted up set of shoestrings, you can't tie your shoes with that. You got to unknot them.
You got to unknot them. Exactly.
It won't work. It won't work. So there's a lot of things with children, and even us and our self-healing. I don't care if you're 75 years old, you can still self-heal. Your body wants to heal.
Right.
See, none of you know how to heal a cut. You don't know how to heal a cut. You only know how to set the conditions up for the cut to heal itself. Because your body is always yearning to heal itself. Your body, your mind, and your soul. So we don't know how to grow plants. No, we don't know how to, grow plants. We just know how to put the conditions. Exactly. Okay, you put it an inch or 2, depending on the seed, down in the soil. You want to have it in a well-lit area. When sunlight comes around, you want to keep that soil moist. And then you sit back and wait. But we don't know a damn thing about that.
Exactly.
Nature takes over.
That's true. That's exactly
same thing with the cut. Keep it clean, cover it up, make sure it doesn't get dirty, and we know it's going to heal. So, doctor, that scar I had, or that deep cut, they put a few stitches and they let nature take over.
Right.
And we do that naturally with ourselves by putting ourselves in the right atmosphere and environment of being still sometime, letting our mind unclog. Because this world is bringing us information. As you can hear, there's a lot of banging under my window that happens every day at the time. Yeah. We got something, don't we? Right. So anyway, we're going to forge forward with that. And I just wanted to say that was something that was just quick off my mind. It wasn't part of the topic.
Well, it's very interesting that you said all of what you just said, because the topic that we're talking about this morning is in keeping with some of the things that you expressed, especially your upbringing. you know, and the things that you saw, how you know, related to your parents and what you absorbed from them. Start reading, Brother Lance, because
Yes. We're
it's
going to
exactly
read.
that.
We're going to read out of our famous book on human nature,
Yeah. So,
Robert Greene.
right, let me
Yeah.
just say this real quick. Guys,
Yeah. Mhm.
like Brother Lance just said, the book is called uh The Laws of Human Nature. The Laws of Human Nature. There's another version, I think is the contracted or something, but this one is just straight up The Laws of Human Nature. It's a great book. I think you can check pdfdrive.com and see if you can download a PDF version if you don't want to go out and buy the physical book. Um, but what we're going to be doing going forward is this particular chapter that we're reading from. It's quite extensive, so we're not going to go through the entire chapter, but we're going to go, you know, bits and pieces. So, you know, try to, you know, just take from it what we're trying to
Yes.
impart here. And we'll come back and we'll follow up, you know, with the same chapter. We might do a part 2 because it's a fascinating chapter. And I think all of us will benefit from what we hear right now. So, yes.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And jump in. I'll read, but
I'll
if
jump in.
something,
Yeah.
yeah. If something, this is your show. I mean, I'll jump in, right? um, no, seriously, because as we read, we think things and we want to say things. I encourage everybody in the chat room to say what they
Yes.
say.
Yes.
This must be a good show because there are 3,
There was?
you know, so this is an ongoing thing. We're going to ignore this. We're going to move forward.
Right.
Anyway, the name of the title is the chapter is Reconnect to the Masculine or Feminine Within You. And that's on page 320 for those of you who have the book. The Law of Gender Rigidity. Okay. And it says all of us have masculine and feminine qualities. Some of this is genetic, and some of it comes from the profound influence of the parent of the opposite sex. But in the need to present a consistent identity in society, we tend to repress these qualities, over-identifying with the masculine or feminine role expected of us. And we pay a price for this. We lose valuable dimensions to our character. Our thinking and ways of acting become rigid. Our relationships with members of the opposite sex suffer as we project unto them our fantasies and hostilities. You must become aware of these lost masculine or feminine traits and slowly reconnect to them, unleashing creative powers in the process. You will become more fluid in your thinking. In bringing out the masculine or feminine undertone to your character, you will fascinate people by being authentically yourself. Do not play the expected gender role, but rather create the one that suits you.
All right.
That's powerful.
Yes, it is.
So many people, I got 3 texts before the show, and so many people were like, what do you mean? You did that show and you're talking about LGBT, and so now you're saying reconnect to the masculine or feminine within you. No, I'm a man. I don't have no damn feminine. Yeah, see, and they missed the whole damn point.
Right.
And if I read this, it would probably go right over their head what I just read. That we have both energies in us. Yeah, if you're a man, you're going to have more of the masculine.
Exactly.
Cousin or some sort doesn't
fell off.
match to masculinity.
Right.
Because when you're masculine, like in the movies, and I have my enemy and he's under my foot, I got to kill him and whatever. Now, I understand that part of it because your enemy will come back and get you if you don't get him. But what I'm saying is that in this society, it's either or with the energy. Doesn't mean you're less than a man. Like I said, when my brother had lost his wife and I hugged him and I told him that I loved him.
Right.
Doesn't mean it was some homo business.
Right.
But that was more the feminine energy of what my mother would do to me. And it's not attached to a penis or a vagina. It has nothing to do with that.
Right.
When you have those gears, like say, for example, you had a car and you're going to drive from New York to California and it's a stick shift, a manual. And what are you going to do? I'm just going to drive in the first gear all the way over there. No, that would be a very uncomfortable ride. You'll be racing the engine. You'll still get there. You'll probably have to drive a whole lot slower, and you might burn that gear out. So if you
Exactly.
have more gears in your vehicle, the masculine, the feminine energy that you can take a proportionate amount doesn't mean, oh, I'm masculine now and I'm feminine the next. I'm not saying that. I'm just trying to say these few things so that people don't get the wrong idea and say, what are you going to be doing a show and wearing a dress as a man? It has nothing to do with that. I am not saying that. And that's not even where this is going.
Right.
But you need to be able in this life when you react with people to be able to have all the characteristics and be able, like a buffet, when you go to the all-you-eat buffet, everybody chooses the foods they want and the amount of food that they want for them. They may have some of the same things on their plate like you do, but it will be in different proportions according to their liking.
Right. So, exactly.
And maybe I was raised, I'm just making this up now because I had both parents, but maybe I was raised as an example with a macho father who didn't show any love, who didn't show any compassion, and didn't. So now that flavors how I think of the world. So when I see a grown man who is strong and masculine, show some compassion, show some love and consideration, show some sympathy, be able to come out of themselves and extend themselves. And that's got to be strange to the guy who was raised by the macho father, who was very rigid, died of a heart attack, and didn't have much relationships. I'm just making this up because the way you live your life and the way you approach your life.
Right.
And some people are so rigid, and it's got to be this one way and whatever. You don't have much gears on your vehicle, and you're going to burn out, and you're not going to make it to the end of the journey in this life. And you damn sure won't enjoy yourself because less and less people will be able to relate to you, and you're only going to be able to be around a certain hand-picked few who agree with you, and you rah, rah, rah until you die. Like some of these people, I'm not just going to make it up. I'm just going to pick it out the hat. Like some of these people who are die-hard Trump supporters, and it's got to be rigid this way. And everything they do is flavored by what this man says. But they were like this already. But Trump became the face of it, and they go even deeper, and it flavors them because the energy is so rigid. So when you talk about reconnect to the masculine or feminine within you, some can't even reconnect because they weren't connected in the first place.
They don't even know. Right. Exactly. Exactly.
You see?
So
that's what it's about.
Right. Absolutely. No, I just wanted to say, so you could go there while, you kind of talk. We're going to go to the Keys to Human Nature, which is on page 333, which breaks down the section that Brother Lance just read a while ago. Why are you laughing?
We can get down to this because this is a
serious
good
stuff, man.
reading, but it's just so juicy. It's just
This is serious stuff. We could do 2 mornings of this and just say, you know what? We're not even going to try to rush through it. We're going to,
No.
We need to absorb this even more.
We're probably going to take about a year or so to get through this whole book.
Oh, yeah.
We could dedicate a day out of the week and do this. This could be a separate show other than the morning show. But, it's just, it doesn't, but this information that's here of things that lots of times we think about in a fragmented way, but never pull it all together. And this is the beauty of a book. When somebody writes a book on a particular subject or around an area that needs to be covered, that it brings us in line in a concentrated way so that it unlocks the things that we already have in us and things that we see when we're thinking people. Some people may come on and let me just check this show out. I heard it was fire, and it will always be fire, but there's different types of fire. You got the red flame, the yellow flame, the blue flame. You got different types of fire. And these things will elevate and sharpen our blades when we go out into the world. You have a dull blade trying to cut something and it looks like it's menacing, but it can't cut a damn thing because it's too blunt because it hasn't been sharpened. So when you read things like this or you absorb things like this and you discuss things like this in your quiet time, in your downtime, you're sharpening your blade. So when you encounter certain situations, you can go out there and slice through it effortlessly because when your blade is sharp, it doesn't take much effort to cut what you want to cut. When it's blunt, you got problems. You have resistance.
Exactly.
And you get argumentative because what you have is not working. So this is why certain individuals will isolate themselves, because they're not equipped to deal with the vast world around them, because their gears are limited. They may be just into the masculine, just into the feminine, or the blending is out of proportion. So they're going to have problems. But you can be nice and smooth and navigate real nice when you have that vehicle that has all of the gears. So now you drop down to the first gear when you got to go up the side of a steep mountain. You might not go as fast, but you're still moving forward. And now you can go to another gear when you're going down the side of the mountain. So when you have these different gears and different options in your makeup and in your thinking, it makes life so much more easier.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Raquel, that's awesome. That's awesome. I'm gonna have to look that one up. I love
I think I
his
have
work
a book
too.
here.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get
I
all
have
his
so
books.
many. Yeah. I like that. And I like these things. These things help you so much. But yeah, let's go on and read this.
Okay.
You know, and stop me when you want to digest a little bit of it, because it is a good amount of reading. But
Yes, I will.
the way it flows is it's just so good. It's not like, oh God, he's going to read something. I'm going to sit here and let's kind of, you know. And for those who want to,
You're not going to be bored, guys. You're not going to be bored. Trust me. This is reading Rainbow for the adults.
exactly. We're
You
sharpening
know.
our blade right now. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, here it is, page 333 in this book.
Yes.
Toward the bottom, keys to human nature.
Human nature, yes.
We humans like to believe that we are consistent and mature, and that we have reasonable control over our lives. We make decisions based on rational considerations, on what will benefit us the most. We have free will. We know who we are, more or less. But in one particular aspect of life, these self-opinions are all easily shattered: when we fall in love. When in love, we become prey to emotions we cannot control. We make choices of partners we cannot rationally explain. We often, and often these choices end up being unfortunate.
Right.
Many of us will have at least one successful relationship in our lives, but we will tend to have many more that were decidedly unsuccessful. That's true. That ended unhappily. And often we held by some inner demon.
Are you breaking? You're breaking
Like,
up.
that
I'm
when
not
we
sure
were
if
in love.
everybody is experiencing the dropout. Is everybody experiencing the dropout? Yeah, you keep
Maybe my positioning to the microphone. Let me just reposition myself, because I was pretty close, but I think maybe it was more of a sideways thing. Okay, here we go.
Yeah.
We like to tell ourselves in retrospect. I don't know if you can hear it now.
I hear you.
Okay, we can tell ourselves in retrospect that when we were in love, a type of temporary madness overcame us. We think of such moments as representing the exception, not the rule, to our character. But let us entertain for the moment the opposite possibility. In our conscious day-to-day life, we are sleepwalking, unaware of who we really are. We present a front of reasonableness to the world, and we mistake the mask for reality.
Wow.
When we fall in love, we are actually being more ourselves. The mask slips off. We realize then how deeply unconscious forces determine many of our actions. We are more connected to the reality of the essential irrationality in our nature. Let us look at some of the common changes that occur when we're in love. Normally, our minds are in a state of distraction. The deeper we fall in love, however, the more our attention is completely absorbed in one person. We become obsessive. We like to present one that highlights our strengths. When in love, however, opposite traits often come to the fore. A person who is normally strong and independent can suddenly become rather helpless, dependent, and hysterical. A nurturing, empathetic person can suddenly become tyrannical, demanding, and self-absorbed. As adults, we feel relatively mature and practical, but in love, we can suddenly regress to behavior that can only be seen as childish. We experience fears and insecurities that are greatly exaggerated. We feel terror at the thought of being abandoned, like a baby who's been left alone for a few minutes. We have wild mood swings from love to hate, from trust to paranoia. Normally, we like to imagine that we are good judges of other people's character. Once infatuated or in love, however, we mistake the narcissist for a genius, the suffocator for a nurturer, the slacker for the excited rebel, the control freak for the protector. Others can often see the truth and try to disabuse us of our fantasies, but we won't listen. And what is worse, we will often continue to make the same types of mistaken judgments again and again. Oh, if they only knew. If they only knew.
Oh my God.
What was just read, how when they're in love, I have to say it again, we mistake the narcissist for a genius. So people run off at every word they say as though it's gold, not knowing that the person's a narcissist, that the suffocator, is a suffocator, a mistake for a nurturer. Wow, this person is looking out for me and taking care of me. But it's a trap where they're going to suffocate you.
Yes.
And a person who is an exciting rebel, they talk a good talk, but they're not doing as they should in their life. The control freak for the protector. You're violating by talking to the person that I told you not to talk to.
Yes.
But they don't see it because in their mind, they're a protector. Man, that one little sentence, I can rant for a whole day, but we'll still move on.
Begin.
No. Oh man, I gotta make a marking here because I'm gonna come back and absorb that.
Yeah, you gotta get a highlighter.
Exactly. In looking at these altered states, we might be tempted to describe them as forms of possession. We are normally rational person A, but under the influence of an infatuation, irrational person B begins to emerge. At first, A and B can fluctuate and even blend into each other. But the deeper we fall in love, the more it is person B who dominates. Person B sees qualities in people that are not there, acts in ways that are counterproductive and even self-destructive, is quite immature, with unrealistic expectations, and makes decisions that are often mysterious later on to person A. When you come out of the feeling of love, you're like, what the hell?
What the heck did I just do? How the hell did I get down that road?
Exactly. Like on Star Trek when they got hit by the spores and everything was post-orgasmic and they wanted to leave the ship. When it comes to our behavior in these situations, we never really completely understand what is happening. Too much of our unconscious is at play.
Yes.
And we have no rational access to its processes. But the eminent psychologist Carl Jung, who analyzed over the course of his very long career thousands of men and women with stories of painful love affairs, offered perhaps the most profound explanation for what happens to us when we fall in love. According to Jung, we are actually possessed in such moments. He gave the entity, person B, that takes hold of us the name anima for the male and animus for the female. This entity exists in our unconscious, but comes to the surface when a person of the opposite sex fascinates us. The following is the origin of the anima and the animus and how they operate.
Wow,
we
listen.
All possess hormones. We all possess hormones and genes of the opposite sex. These contrasexual traits are in the minority to a greater or lesser extent, depending on the individual, but they are within us all, and they form a part of our character. Equally significant is the influence on our psyche of the parent of the opposite sex. from whom we absorb feminine or masculine traits. In our earliest years, we were completely open and susceptible to the influence of others. The parent of the opposite sex was our first encounter with someone dramatically different from us. As we related to their alien nature, much of our personality was formed in response, becoming more dimensional and multifaceted. With the parent of the same sex, there's often a level of comfort and immediate identification that does not require the same adaptive energy. For instance, small boys are often comfortable expressing emotions and traits that they've learned from the mother, such as overt affection, empathy, and sensitivity. Small girls, conversely, are often comfortable expressing traits that they've learned from the father, such as aggression, boldness, intellectual rigor, and physical prowess. Each child may also naturally possess the opposite gender traits in him or herself. In addition, each parent will also have a shadow side that the child must assimilate or deal with. For instance, a mother may be narcissistic rather than empathetic, and a father may be domineering or weak rather than protective and strong. Children must adapt to this. In any event, the boy and the girl will internalize the positive and the negative qualities of the parent of the opposite sex in ways that are unconscious and profound. And the association with the parent of the opposite sex will be charged with all kinds of emotions, physical and sensual connections, tremendous feelings of excitement, fascination, disappointment at what was not given. Let me say that again. Physical and sensual connections, tremendous feelings of excitement, fascination, and disappointment at what one was not given. Disappointment. So this is telling me that even though you're a child, you can be disappointed because your soul is not fed what not only that you know and expected, but there's something missing. You know, it's almost like this, and I'll say it this way. You're eating a plate of food that
you're still dropping out.
Part is nourishing you. Okay, and for the most part, it's nourishing you.
Right.
But yeah, let me know when I drop out.
Okay.
But the thing is, you finish that plate and everybody else seems to be fed and nourished because of their needs or their particular needs of their body. And for you now, it's like, I need something more.
Right.
And they said, well, you ate an adequate amount of food and it's a variety and
you drop out for a long time.
It did not nourish you to eat. You see, when you get what you need in life, you don't have to eat more. You don't have to overdo certain things. You take a grown man who has to exert and show the world that I'm a man by the way I talk and I have to put up this front. But it's a scared little boy behind that shell. It's a scared little boy behind that mighty gorilla suit. But because of what they didn't get when they were younger, they're making up for it and compensating for it by this little paper thin cardboard cutout dance that we show the world of how manly we are. But when the stressful situations come and when certain situations come that will prove to the world what you really are, you punk out.
Right.
The man out in the world, you know, in the hood, man, F the police, man. That's part of the Babylon system. Innocent, come here you go, run into the cops. I'm not saying that you're not supposed to run to the cops. I would refrain from it. We know how it is. But there are situations where legally and to get documentation, you had to do that.
Right.
But don't go on and say this all your life and that you're this one man wrecking machine and I can handle everything myself and all.
They're really, you know, Lance, they're really playing with us this morning. It must be too good.
You go run. Oh, this person.
Hello?
You understand?
Lance,
So yeah, that's
they're
what
really
happened.
they're really
Yeah.
messing with us this morning because I mean they're they're just like cutting off the connection. Sometimes it's
This is
just for
crazy.
you. Yeah, I mean,
This is crazy because I'm like right up on the mic.
I don't.
The
It's not
connection
you. I
here.
don't think it's you.
Yeah.
I think it's whoever is playing with the the buttons this morning. You know, are you there? See?
And you just
Yeah,
broke up too. That's
they're doing it
crazy.
more frequently. See, I just asked if everyone was experiencing the dropouts, and everyone's saying yes.
Let me see if there's a way that we can work around
I
this
know.
immediately. That's something.
It, it must be too good of a
Wow.
topic.
Yeah, right. But this is why we're going to have to sometimes
It
like
broke
time,
up
but every
again.
time take conference line or take it to
Yeah.
yeah,
hmm
yeah. I don't, let me just see something with this cord for a second.
All right. Guys, I know you probably can hear me. You know when we
In a
have good
second.
stuff. If we come with the crazies every morning, we have no problem, when we get overly passionate and we say things, but we can't do that every morning. Sometimes it's got to be a learning session because as far as I'm concerned, this is a subject and a topic that we all need to hear. We all need to experience this because we can look into ourselves,
Yeah.
once we get familiar with how we are as individuals. Because there's a lot of stuff in here I'm learning this morning, and I'm starting to look at myself. You know, what am I not projecting, or what do I project
But again, like I
unconsciously,
said,
that might not be healthy, that because I'm not aware of it.
you went out for like 2 seconds,
Hmm?
On my end, you went out for like 20 seconds. You
Exactly.
went out
That's
for
it.
like 20 seconds.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we're dealing with. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. That's exact. So that means they keep flipping the switch and just, cutting
We're
us
going to some
off.
lipstick and they'll definitely put it. No, if I was talking about some.
See? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Unbelievable. Hello? Oh, well, he totally fell off right now, guys. So let's see. He actually fell out. I know, I just saw that.
Okay,
Are you
I'm back.
back? Okay.
Yeah.
I was just telling them that you got knocked off.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
see, I have another computer here that
hmm
didn't seem to be affected.
Right. Well, I don't know what you're saying
Computer.
just now,
I
but
don't think it's a computer thing. It shows me that particular computer is targeted.
mm,
Yeah. This computer's targeted because the one next to me I could type in. That's why I said I just got knocked off completely.
right.
So
Yeah,
yes, no
that
hear you.
computer is targeted. Yeah. hmm
Yeah. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I know people, I know all kinds of people. So I'm gonna have to go to one of my hacker friends to help me out with some of this stuff. I
hmm
try to play fair and try to play a certain way. There's a lot of things I know to do through people that are connected to me and I don't do it, but they're playing dirty. They're playing dirty. I don't know if you can even hear me, but they're playing dirty right now.
Yeah.
And when you're in a fight, you have to remain cool, have the steel nerves of an assassin, and know that you can forge forward and do what you have to do to make things happen.
Right.
So what we will do if this continues, we are going to
Mm-hmm.
read this out on a recording.
Yeah.
On a recording, we'll read this out and then we'll present it to the world and we'll be there in the chat room. And then what
Right.
we'll do after the recording, so everybody can come on in and chime on in, whether they want to speak or not, we'll finish this today. We'll try to talk a little more. Maybe this is a passing storm, but we'll make a recording of this and we'll start all over again.
hmm
And then we'll open up the conference line after we upload it to Premiere so that it
Right.
will be clear. And then afterward, we can have a live discussion on the conference line where you can call in. And if you don't want to talk, it's fine. If you want to talk, that's cool too. But we'll have a live discussion to have participation. And then we can join those two together and then upload that also. So we can
Right.
do it off the live stream. But this live stream is what is the problem. to me, because when we record our other shows, we don't have that problem when we just record and don't put it online.
Right. That's true. That's true.
But the participation in the live stream has been very successful in the last week or
right.
two.
He has a VPN, Dame. Is that something that would even help us right now, Lance?
Yeah.
I mean,
well, I'm using it right now. That's the funny thing.
That's the funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
See,
I'm going through that right now. Maybe maybe I should switch countries. Let me do that. Right now.
Okay.
Maybe yeah.
Get out of America, Lance. Oh God, I'm talking like it's him. It could be me, for crying out loud. Who the hell knows? I'm here in America.
See how that sounds. Let me know if I'm breaking up at this point.
All right. Well, you're good so far.
I'm good so far. Okay. So we're gonna make it hard work for those who are doing it. So right now, I'm not gonna say what country I'm in.
No, don't.
Yeah. So we'll talk for another minute to see if it's still dropping out. If it's still dropping out, what's the point?
Right.
We'd have to continue this and upload it and do it a different way.
Right.
Okay.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Everybody can hear you clear. Isn't that something? They can hear you clear.
Yeah.
But my connection to the program that's on my computer.
Yeah. Exactly. All right. So what do you want to do? You want to just read, soon, however, and see if, I'll let you know if you.
Well, if they hear you, we'll see. Okay, this is what we do. If I'm still dropping out in and out, it makes no point. If you can be heard, then I'm going to ask if you can read, and just take your time and read. And
you know what? You know I hate reading out. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
But if I'm dropping out, it makes no point.
Yeah,
but if you want to,
go ahead.
Okay, let's try. Now, if everybody in the chat room, please let me know if I'm dropping out. Everything over here appears to be good for me, but you never know. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Because we were speaking about physical and sensual connections, tremendous feelings of excitement, fascinations, and disappointment at what was not given.
Right.
And that's the point that I was making, that a child knows even when they're not given something, not because they know it at the moment, but when and this is me adding it on, and please let me know if I'm dropping out.
You're good.
When they go out into the outside world, they realize that certain things they may not have that the other kids have, the other children have. See, if you grew up with a pack rat, that's normal for you. And it doesn't bother you because that's all you know. A person who packs up, boxes and papers and all kinds of stuff, you can't walk and it's just packed up. But when you go to your friend's house as a child and see a home of a minimalist, and you see that, wait a second, it's clean and there's space and I can breathe and there's no dust and there's no bugs, you start to compare. You like what you see when you go there, and you're embarrassed when that other child who comes from the minimalist household, he comes to your house and now you're cringing. And even still, that other child may notice that you live in a pack rat type house, but because they have that compassion and sympathy, they don't make fun of you. And your guard is up.
Exactly.
So these are the little things that make us who we are in our psyche as we get older. But we cover it over with the facade of masculinity, the facade of being so feminine, and the different traits. Right. So really, to me, and this is me saying it, we're going to continue reading, but to me, I'm going to make up a word that makes sense, right? Most of our jacked upness, comes in these early years.
Yes.
Because we are extremely sensitive. We're fresh out the box.
Yeah.
We need to be handled with care. At the same time, we're very resilient. We have to be, but emotionally, this is what's molding us. Exactly. And there are people that I talk to constantly about this, and they hate to acknowledge it. They everything you talk about always goes back to childhood. Yes, it damn does. Because many of us don't want to look back at our childhood.
Yeah.
You understand? How's it going so far?
So far, so good.
Okay. Okay, here we go. We're going to continue reading.
All right.
Soon, however, comes a critical period in our early lives in which we must separate from our parents and forge our destiny. And the simplest and most powerful way to create this identity is around gender roles, the masculine and the feminine. The boy will tend to have a relationship to his mother that will mark him for life. On the one hand, he craves the security and adoring attention she gives him. On the other hand, he feels threatened by her, as if she might suffocate him in her femininity and he would lose himself. He fears her authority and her power over his life. From a certain age forward, he feels the need to differentiate himself. He needs to establish his own sense of masculine identity. Certainly, the physical changes that occur as he gets older will fuel this identity with the masculine. But in the process, he will tend to over-identify with the role, unless he identifies with the feminine role instead, playing up his toughness and independence to emphasize his separation from the mother. The other sides to his character, the empathy, the gentleness, the need for connection, which he absorbed from the mother or were naturally a part of him, will tend to become repressed and sink in to the unconscious. Ain't that something?
Ain't that something?
The girl may have an adventurous spirit and may incorporate the willpower and determination of her father into her own personality. As she gets older, she will most likely feel pressure to conform to certain cultural norms and to forge her own identity around what is considered feminine. Girls are supposed to be nice, sweet, and differential. They are supposed to put the interests of others before their own. They are supposed to tame any wild streaks, to look pretty, and to be objects of desire. For the individual girl, these expectations turn into voices she hears in her head, continually judging her and making her doubt her self-worth. These pressures may be subtler in our day and age, but they still exert a powerful influence. The more exploratory, aggressive, and darker sides of her character, both naturally occurring and absorbed from her father, will tend to become repressed and sink into the unconscious if she adopts a more traditionally feminine role. The unconscious feminine part of the boy and the man, in what Jung says is the anima. The unconscious masculine part of the girl and woman are the animus. Because they are parts of ourselves that are deeply buried, we are never really aware of them in our daily life.
Wow.
But once we become fascinated with a person of the opposite sex, the anima and animus stir to life.
Wow.
The attraction we feel toward another might be purely physical, but more often the person who draws our attention unconsciously bears some resemblance, physical or psychological, to our mother or father.
Wow.
Remember that this primal relationship is full of charged energy, excitement, obsessions that are repressed but yearning to come out. A person who triggers these associations in us will be a magnet for our attention, even though we are not aware of the source of our attraction. If the relationship to the mother or father was mostly positive, we will tend to project onto the other person the desirable qualities of our parents or that our parent had, in the hope of re-experiencing that early paradise.
And that's the truth.
Take, for instance, a young man whose mother nurtured and adored him. He may have been a sweet, loving little boy, devoted to his mother and reflecting her nurturing energy, but he repressed these traits in himself as he grew into an independent man with a masculine image to uphold. In the woman who triggers an association with his mother, he will see the capacity to adore him and he secretly craves. This feeling of getting what he wants will intensify his excitement and physical attraction. She will supply him the qualities he never developed in himself. He is falling in love with his own anima in the form of the desired woman.
This
If
is
the
deep.
feelings toward the mother, yes, if the feelings toward the mother or father were mostly ambivalent, their attention inconsistent, we will often try to fix the original relationship by falling in love with someone who reminds us of our imperfect parent figure. Let me interject something here.
Please do.
If you grew up with a father who may have gone out and paid the bills, but he was a severe alcoholic and very abusive, and that was your normalcy. For years, I've said this before. I've said this before, even reading this. I'm not trying to say I'm a genius, but these are things that I've observed. And that little girl knows that this is bad and stop beating mommy, and I wish my father would stop drinking. But when she gets older and she gets with someone who doesn't drink, who doesn't beat her, there's something missing in the back of her mind. I'm not saying she wants to be beat down or wants to be an alcoholic, but she's gonna have a sense of normalcy in a twisted, sick, dysfunctional way when she gets with that guy or sees the next man who has liquor on his breath and is a bit too aggressive. She might find us, this is not the book talking, this is me talking.
Right.
She may find us aroused, feeling guilty that the man at home doesn't get her this way, and feeling guilty that this man is no good. He's not my man, but he's just, and if she breaks up with the man at home, and she's with this new man, and she knows on paper and on a decent level is something that shouldn't be, guess what? When they in the bedroom and he grabs her hair and he doesn't show her no compassion and softness and gentleness, traits that she may have looked at as being weak in the form of a man who loved her and treated right, her orgasms are more intense when he says, come over here and let me F-U-C-K-U. Bend over and grabs her hair hard and pulls it back and takes the other hand and puts it around her throat and doesn't even do anything gentle. He pumps her so hard and she loves it.
Yeah.
You see how deep this thing can go? I'm not trying to be nasty. I'm telling you.
That's true. You're right.
But those traits of the first man who is an example to her, who is a template for all who come after. This is why fathers, how they treat their daughters, and mothers, how they treat their sons are very important. Because now that woman done left a man who was actually good for her, but didn't match up to the imagery of her dysfunctional father who was abusive. And it's deep in her subconscious mind. I'm not saying they walking around, I want somebody who's going to beat my ass. I want somebody who's going to drink. No, you're not saying this.
Right, right.
But we've got to go, all of us, whether that was the example that's true in your life or not, or it's something else, whatever you are, go up under the hood and rewire yourself where you need to be rewired to sharpen your blade through this life so you don't have a life that's disastrous or a life that's confused or a life that you don't really want to live, that when you get older, you look back and you say, man, I understand why this happened, and it's a little too late.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying.
True. That's true.
I just had to add my 2 cents.
You please
so
do.
We'll go back to this.
Please go back to the book now, sir.
What an example. You're always gonna be saying something sexual. We can all identify with that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So now let me see where I was. Okay, I'll just go back a bit. Okay. If the relationship was mostly negative, we may go in search of someone with the opposite qualities to that parent, often a dark shadowy nature. For instance, if a girl who had a father who was too strict, distant, and critical, perhaps had the secret desire to rebel, but didn't dare to, as a young woman, she might be drawn to a rebellious, unconventional young man who represents the wild side she was never able to express.
There you go.
And the polar opposite of her father, the rebel in her animus, now externalized in the form of a young man. In any case, whether the association is positive, negative, powerful emotions are triggered, and the feeling feeling ourselves transported to the primal relationship in our childhood. we act in ways that are often contrary to the persona we present. Now, let me just add in there. This is why I say, and we're going back to maybe an erotic kind of thing real quick. That's why I say the biggest freaks are in church. The biggest freaks are the ones who that don't look like freaks.
Yep.
I'm not saying freak in a derogatory way. I'm saying in a street way. You understand what I mean? No disrespect, because we're all freaky. I'm freaky. Everybody freaky, right? But those who repress certain things and act prim and proper, it's that stereotypical librarian who has the glasses and the hair pulled out back and whatever. And when you really get past that, see, the ones who are at the club with the short skirts, the boobies pushed up, and hey, girl, I need me a man tonight. Whatever. They ain't the real freaks. They hurting for love. But the ones who are dedicated, and I'm not saying freaks, but the ones who are so repressed, those are ones who, when you get behind closed doors with them, it's and it's so different from what they put out. Wait a second. This woman grew up in church and she was talking to me about the Lord and whatever. And we had a moment away from that, and something in me activated that thing in her where she knew that she can come out with those signs that she couldn't show in the church. Not that you're going to be naked in the church saying your deepest, darkest things, but you have an image to protect. And it's those image to protect women, those are the ones.
And Brocco.
If you want experiences, those are the ones you go after. The boring looking ones, the repressed ones. Okay? Why are you giggling like that?
Me?
Your laugh is just telling it. Don't you have knowledge of what I just said?
Stop it.
We just can't read.
I'm actually reading the chat. Roby is a bloody mess. He's gonna go to church.
Right? Oh yeah. No, see. Let me tell you something too. We're gonna take a little commercial break. We still gonna have some fun. Now, we all know that I was a younger man at one time, and I was very advanced mentally on certain things like this. Even though I'm reading this out of the book, there were certain things that were instinctive to me because I was very cerebral as a child. And when my mother went back to school to learn more, to get the different degrees so she can teach further, she had psychology books. And here I am at 10, 11 years old, reading these books and really absorbing what I knew because I was a very wise kid. I played the kid role, but I knew more than anything else. And I knew that church time was good times because of that very fact.
Yeah.
I knew what it was. And see, the people who will use this knowledge not for the good, but for the selfish, carnal reasons, know that. See, these guys, I'm not just saying the guys that go to church and they're not really into church, but just in the outside world, the real slicksters, they go for that quiet, repressed woman and they got a sense and an awareness to know who to go after.
Yeah.
The one who straightens them out. Don't come over here with that slick stuff. You ain't getting nothing out of me. I already know what time it is with you. You know, and you're right, We Life, the preacher's daughters are the ones.
Yeah.
And I have been through that particular scenario several times. And I wasn't a predator that way. But you know. Why make more work for yourself when you're at that stage of your life? I'm not saying or condoning this now as an older man, but we're speaking as a younger man now who is interested in experiences. So you know, you ain't gonna go chase that girl down who's at the club. And no, there's the one sitting on the porch, nice and quiet, reading her Bible, and she got a wicked body, and she's friendly, but she's lonely.
Right.
Her daddy is repressive. And here you go. You don't have to act like a wild man, but you throw a little rebellious thing inside of you. You know, you go over to him and sit down next to him and let him know, I respect you, but you're so damn pretty. And that dress you have on, it can't hide what you have, girl. You look good. And she's sitting here batting her eyes, a little bit ashamed. And you think so? You're giving her a peek into a world that she wasn't allowed to be hip to. And she's a sitting duck slicker who can come around.
Yes.
And then now, because of need to break free from those barriers, those perceived barriers, you meeting her on the very side of her house because she can't leave nowhere. It's 10 o'clock at night and the father been asleep for an hour because he has to get up 4 o'clock in the morning to drive trucks. And the things that go on the side of that house with that little dress she got on, boy, you just don't know. I'm saying it that way as an example. Okay. So be careful as a father what you project to your daughters, not to say, oh, go out and be promiscuous.
Right.
But you need to have a little bit of the rebel in you as a father and balance it out with the discipline you give them to protect them from the slickers who are out there. So what those slickers out there have as far as being a rebel is not attractive to them because they can see the rebel in you.
Right. Right.
So when you have your daughter with you and you're in a line at Walmart and some next guy cuts in front of you, knowing he's doing it, and you let him slide, that's not making you look good because the rebel out there will handle it different. And when she gets used to seeing you as a passive, a person who is not going to take charge within reason, you don't have to jump into everything aggressively. But say, hey, man, listen, I know you know I'm standing here. What is wrong with you, man? You need to get back in the line. And you need to act a little overly pissed and let her see that masculinity. So that guy out there who's no good for her, she sees these things in him. Daddy don't handle it like that.
Right.
I like that.
Exactly.
See? So sometimes the little girl with the rebel father will cause that girl to like the guy who is passive, who has empathy and sympathy and compassion because she don't see that at home. So it's got to be a blending.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. You know.
Right. Indeed, you're absolutely right. You're 1,000%. We don't have any.
And just to answer on Naima, what she said, because the church gives off the impression libido is bad and evil when it's not, instead of teaching the sacredness and responsibility. And I have to share this story again.
You're right, sis.
What I've known in this church in North Carolina, where they had some kind of, it's not work release, but it was kind of some kind of release program from a prison.
Right.
And these guys would come, they were dressed up. They didn't have any prison stuff on. They were on good behavior. They served their term and they're about to get out. So they offered them this to help bring them back into society. But, you know, that's oppression. Let them come to the church. But they went and they signed up for the program and they were coming there and they had people there watching over them, of course, but they didn't want to mess up and go back. But they gave them some freedom. So some of these brothers, you know, they sit next to the women in the church that, wow, he's in the program. What did he do? He's a bad boy. And it's diametrically opposed to the tame men who were in the church. And there was an excitement. And there might have been, I think, 15, 20 of these guys. Wouldn't you believe, over the weeks, because they had phone privileges where they were locked up. They weren't in a cell. It was more like a home. And they had, I guess, cell phones and access to phones. They got, I'm not saying they, like all of them got all the numbers, but they slicked their way during the service to get the phone numbers of these young ladies. And these young ladies were dying to talk to them because it was an excitement that they had that they never saw before, being raised in the church.
Right.
And so with the phone calls came the seduction and the breaking down of the minds of these young ladies. So I'm not saying the very next week, but within the next month, all of those men, 15, 20 of them, were having sex on the church grounds with those women.
Get out.
All of them. In the parking lot. Well, I can pull my car up. And then one guy, I got to go to the bathroom. My stomach is so sick. See, they didn't watch them as hard. They had one or two guys who were there from corrections who were like, whatever. And they didn't even care either because they kind of knew what was going on. I'll let them get laid. I don't care. Right. People don't hear about it anyway. Some of them were talking. So that one in the red skirt. So what did you do with her? And what did she do with you? And they liked it. So they let them. I think they had somebody hit them off of the job. You know what I mean? But that's how it works. So if they had an example of a more aggressive male, not that you have to be just that, but a blending, that your daddy has all gears. He can love you, he can hold you, he can comfort you, he can show empathy, and he can also go out there and kick some nigga's ass in front of you for violating you or saying something wrong.
Exactly.
Not know when that's going to surface. And that's the ultimate excitement. Not that you want your daughter excited at you like that, but that's the ultimate unexpected thing, that what man out there now can match that when she gets older. And she don't think this way, but it's going to happen. You see?
I agree.
Let's continue. I'm not breaking up now, am I?
No, you're perfect.
Okay, let me see where I lost my place in the book.
We become hysterical. So the last paragraph
on page 337.
On page 337, right there after the persona we present.
Okay, let me see what it is. Okay, I see where. Oh, yeah, about the too strict in any case of controlling.
Yeah. You see it, right? No. Okay. In any case, it's like the second sentence down. We become hysterical, needy, obsessive.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna go on mute for a second, Brother Lance. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I know you got a call. Take your call. I got this. And if I happen to be dropping out to, just let me know in the room. I'll occasionally look up, because I got my face in the book right now and hitting these little buttons and controls. You don't know, I'm multitasking like a mother over here. But in any case, whether the association is positive, negative, powerful emotions are triggered, and feeling ourselves transported to the primal relationship in our childhood. We act in ways that are often contrary to the persona that we present. We become hysterical, needy, obsessive, controlling. The anima and animus have their own personalities. And so when they come to life, we act like person B, because we are not really relating to women and men as they are, but rather to our projections. We will eventually feel disappointed in them, as if they are to blame for not being what we had imagined. The relationship will often tend to fall apart from the misreading and miscommunications on both sides. And not aware of the source of this, we will go through precisely the same cycle with the next person. Okay, I got to turn the page here. There are infinite variations on these patterns, because everyone has particular circumstances and mixes of the masculine and feminine. For instance, there are men who are more psychologically feminine than women, and women who are more psychologically masculine than men. If they are heterosexual, the man will be drawn to the masculine women who have the qualities he never developed in himself. Man, this is brilliant.
Isn't it?
He has more of an animus than an anima. Animus being female, anima being the male. I didn't say enema, y'all. I said anima. The woman will be drawn to the feminine men. There are many such contrasexual couples, some more overt than others, and they can be successful if both sides get what they want. A famous historical example would be the composer Frederick Chopin. How do you say his name?
Chopin,
yeah. You know, I had a guy in school. He confused me all the time. He always say chopping. I'm like, oh, that's not chopping. Now, hit me back, right? I heard his voice. Like the wife. If they are homosexual, the man or woman will still be in search of the contrasexual qualities undeveloped from within. Right. In general, people are imbalanced, over-identifying with the masculine or feminine and drawn to the polar opposite. Your task as a student of human nature is threefold. First, you must try to observe the anima and animus as they manifest themselves in others, particularly in their intimate relationships. By paying attention to their behavior and patterns in these situations, you will have access to their unconscious that is normally denied to you. You will see the parts of themselves they have repressed, and you can use such knowledge to great effect. That's what I was saying. Learn this stuff. If you're a good person, you can learn it for the good to maximize your relationship. Now, let's continue now. Pay special attention to those who are hyper masculine or hyper feminine. I'm going to say it again. Pay special attention to those who are hyper masculine or hyper feminine.
Right.
You can be sure that below the surface lurks a very feminine anima for the man and a very masculine animus for the woman. When people go extra far in repressing their feminine or masculine qualities, these will tend to leak out in a caricatured form. Wow. So the man who's trying to be a man and pushed to be a man, I knew a guy like that. Here's a guy, I'll say his name. Nobody, he's deceased, but it's not a disrespect thing because all of our friends in the inner circle know Steve Zinn, who owns Zinn's Gym in Ridgewood, Queens. He's a white man who basically was like, he was an Archie Bunker type. And so he would say stupid things that would be registered as racist, but I know him well. I've traveled from state to state with him. He sponsored me lots of times in the competitions. So I got a chance to see him and analyze him. And he was a classic case of that. He was so much into the man thing and your manhood, not like a respectable way like Judge Joe Brown does, because he sees how black manhood is being attacked. But this man was just, it was too much. I'm a man and I'm 275 pounds and I'm packing that weight. You don't want to mess with me and so on, so on, so on, so on, so. So this is what happened, right? I told the story and I guess I'm taking it, revealing it now. I told the story of the man who I knew, the white man who saw a car parked down the street from his house late at night, but his wife wasn't home. He didn't know where she was. And this was before the days of having access to affordable cell phones. But that didn't have anything to do with it. He just saw this car, and in his neighborhood, they all looked out for each other. And the windows were kind of fogged up, and he went down slowly in a distance, like he was just walking down the street. And he saw a man reclined in the driver's seat. And so he figured what it might be, but he didn't see anybody else there. But he wanted to make sure that this guy wasn't sitting up in there dead or watching somebody's house to see if they can break into it. So he got closer and he saw something moving up and down near the steering wheel below his waist. So in the back of his mind, his heart started to race a little bit and his mind went places that he didn't want to go. But his biggest fear was realized. When he got closer, he looked down into the vehicle as though he was still walking past, but the woman looked up, and the woman was his wife. And when he looked at her, the way the streetlight was shining down into the vehicle, and that part of the window wasn't fogged up because it was slightly cracked, she had his next generation, that man, dripping down the front of her face. And so he lost his mind. Steve, he didn't go beat anybody up or kick the thing in. He went to what he knew. And we're not saying he went to the opposite, but it was a feminine thing for him not to do something. I'm not saying females would not do something to catch their man doing that. I'm just saying for a man who projected so much of the manhood and I'm a big man and I'm strong and you don't want to mess with me and we're men. We don't deal with these little pansies and whatever. You know what he did? He lost his mind and said something incoherent out of his head. And I told this story before, but now you know it. He looked in there and he said, "Are you having fun in there? Because I'm a big man." And walked away. That's weird. But it made sense. He was a pansy under the whole, we're men and I'm 275 pounds and I'm benching 300 pounds easily and I do this and I do that. And when I was a kid, younger, competing in the 60s, I stood next to Sergio Oliva. And Sergio Oliva is like one of the greatest bodybuilders that's not acknowledged or whatever, right? Father. The son is competing, but the son is pretty good, but he ain't like his father.
Right.
So all of this, man, this, and I'm a man. When you see these guys who are hyper masculine and always coming off like the person that I spoke about that talks so bad about the police, and when something jumped off really something heavy, run into the police. So what happened to this strong man you claim to be? And we don't need police in the black community. And the only good cop is a dead cop, and you'll never see me acknowledging them. And you go run, make a long report, and go run back again and call them when you saw the guy because you don't want any contradiction, any confrontation. Excuse me, mine is resting. Yeah, you don't want any confrontation with this guy. Who's probably like about 100 pounds lighter than you. 100 pounds lighter than you. And you run into. What happened? So that's why I try to seek balance. I know things that I can do on a masculine level, and I'm very confident myself, but I don't have to keep pushing that. When you drive a Lamborghini, why am I racing with old Corvette, old Camaros?
I don't know.
Why am I racing with them? That shows insecurity in who I am.
That's right. Let them go.
Y'all know what I can do. I'm going to cruise on down to the street, go to the store, come back and put it back in the garage and keep it pretty for the next 20 years. Come on, y'all. Let me continue reading this. Okay. Yeah, let me see.
You are at the hypermasculine man, the last paragraph.
Yes. There you go. The hypermasculine man, for instance, will be secretly obsessed with clothes and his looks. Oh man, this is describing somebody I know to a T, and you know who. Anyway, he will display an unusual interest in people's appearances, including other men, and make rather snappy judgments about them. Richard Nixon desperately tried to project a macho image to those who worked for him as president, but he was constantly commenting on and fussing over the color of the suits they wore in the drapes in his office. The hypermasculine man will express strong opinions about cars, technology, or politics that are not based on real knowledge. And when called on this, he will become rather hysterical in his defense, throw a tantrum, or pout. He is also trying to contain his emotions, but they can often have a life of their own. For instance, without wanting to, he will suddenly become quite sentimental. The hyperfeminine woman will often be concealing a great deal of repressed anger and resentment at the role she has been forced to play. Her seductive, girlish behavior with men is actually a ploy for power, or tease, entrap, and hurt the target. Her masculine side will leak out in passive-aggressive behavior, attempts to dominate people in relationships in underhanded ways. Underneath the sweet, differential facade, she can be quite willful and highly judgmental of others. Her willfulness, always under the surface, will come out in rather irrational stubbornness and petty manners. Your second task is to become aware of the projecting mechanism within yourself. Projections have a positive role to play in your life, and you could not stop them even if you wanted to. Because they are so automatic and unconscious. Without them, you will not find yourself paying deep attention to a person, becoming fascinated with him or her, idolizing and falling in love. But once the relationship develops, you will need to have the power and awareness to withdraw the projections so that you can begin to see women and men as they really are. In doing so, perhaps you will realize how truly incompatible you are, or the opposite. Once connected to the real person, you can continue to idolize him or her, but this will be based on actual positive qualities he or she possesses. Perhaps you can find his or her faults charming. You can accomplish all of this by becoming aware of your own patterns and the types of qualities you tend to project onto others. And I say that, I've always said that before in joke form, in a way that has some truth to it. When you first get with your woman and she loves you and you're into each other and you still got flaws and you on the couch, she done fed you a good meal. She might be in the next room over, can hear everything in that room. She might be in the kitchen and you let out some gas. And she giggles. You're so cute. But let her have issues with you in other aspects of the relationship. And you're on the brink of a breakup. And while she's still going through the motions of the relationship, and there's a little love and a little hope that things can work out, she's basically damn near through with you if the wind blows the wrong way. And you sit on that couch and she's in the kitchen and you let out the same fart.
You nasty.
It's not no more. That's right. That nigga on the couch. Get up, you nasty son of a... I'm so sick of you. Mean over a fart? It's more to it than the fart. So those things give indication as to the health of your relationship. I'm not saying walk around, hey, honey, I love you. I love you too, baby.
Right.
But then again, we do know that we're in a different phase of the relationship when we get into the phase that I call the fart phase. There's always that time when you feel tested. And you're with this person and everything is going along fine. You go into the bathroom and you close the door, you clean up after yourself, everything's fine. But you're with this person and it comes out. You might have been subconsciously holding it. And all of a sudden, you're having the most intellectual conversation. And all of a sudden, the fart comes out. And in yourself, like, oh my God, they finally heard me fart.
Oh God.
Oh God. You know,
let me sink into the couch. Let me disappear.
And you sheepishly try not to acknowledge what just happened, but you glance over at the person's face to see if they heard you. And when you look at their face and see the smirk on their face, it confirms what you were so scared of happening.
God.
You heard me fart. Are you gonna lose respect for me? Are you still gonna love me? Are you still gonna be turned on? You think I'm a slob for farting? You are now in the fart phase of your relationship. And it's a beautiful phase because now, once you see that they accepted you, they may not have their own to let off right now, but they know they can let off and you can't penalize them because you farted already.
Yeah, exactly.
They turn around symbolically and be like, listen, honey, I was so tired of holding it. And you both laugh and hold hands and walk off into the sunset because now there's another dimension of your relationship that is free and you can be yourself. Not that you're going to walk around and put it in your face, and not that you're going to be you're still shy, but it's like, oh God, we've overcome that hurdle in our understanding and we can really be free. 3-4 years from now, you hugging them up in the bed. So what are we going to do tomorrow, honey? I think we need to go to the restaurant first, get full, then we can go food shopping.
I think you need a washout. That's what.
Well, we can do that together, but I ain't gonna be in a room with you. You know what I mean? You take the upstairs toilet, and I'll take the downstairs toilet. You know, and we'll meet later on when the effects of our herbs and center root is all over.
Serious. Oh God.
Yeah, the fart game with LanceScurv. Is your relationship in the fart phase yet? You're not there all the way. You're not completely open if you have to hold them around your mate.
Right, that's true.
Just make sure the ceiling fan is on and there's an open window because it may not be that you're on a vegan diet. You may be on a heavy meat diet, and that's very offensive to the nostrils. See, when you're a vegan, you can ease off and they don't even know it because it doesn't smell like a meat eater. But anyway, I'm not knocking anybody. Just be careful. But they don't call you no more than you know something's up.
I can't take the smell.
Well, you know, we're kind of coming up on the time. And what I want to do, I don't want to wait a week to continue this. We can maybe do something
well,
tonight.
You know what?
And continue.
You can finish this because it's just a little bit, you know, just a little bit more. So just finish this section, and then
all right,
because it finishes on the next page.
Ooh, what's coming up next? And we got to talk. Let me tell you something. We got to talk about this tonight. I don't care. We got to go live or something if we can with no interruption. But no, we're gonna finish this out. Okay, I talked about the hyper feminine woman.
So you're right now.
And whatever.
This also.
The second task.
This also has relevance to yeah. Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. This also has relevance to relationships with the opposite sex that are not intimate. Imagine that in an office situation, a colleague criticizes your work or postpones a meeting you asked for. If that person happens to be of the opposite sex, All kinds of emotions, resentments, fears, disappointments, hostility will be stirred up, along with various projections. Whereas with someone of your own gender, there will be much less of a reaction. Seeing this dynamic in everyday life, you will be better able to control it and have smoother relationships with those of the opposite sex. Your third task is to look forward, to see those feminine or masculine. Say it again?
It's to look inward.
Oh, inward. What did I say?
Forward.
I was distracted. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. Your third task is to look inward. I'm dealing with a lot of it here under this window, distractions.
No
to look inward, to see those feminine or masculine qualities that are repressed and undeveloped within you. You will catch glimpses of your anima or animus in your relationships with the opposite sex. That assertiveness you desire to see in a man or empathy in a woman is something you need to develop within yourself, bringing out that feminine or masculine undertone. What you are doing in essence is integrating into your everyday personality the traits that are within you but are repressed. They will no longer operate independently and automatically in the forms of possession. They will become part of your everyday self, and people will be drawn to the authenticity they sense in you. Finally, when it comes to gender rules, we like to imagine a continual line of progress leading to perfect equality, and to believe that we are not far from reaching this ideal. But this is hardly the truth. Although on one level, we can see definite progress, on another level, one that is deeper, we can see increasing tension and polarization between the sexes, as if the old patterns of inequality between men and women exert an unconscious influence upon us. This tension can sometimes feel like a war, and it stems from a growing psychological distance between the genders, in which people of the opposite sex seem like alien creatures with habits and patterns of behavior we cannot begin to fathom. This distance can turn into hostility among some. Although we can see this in both men and women, the hostility is stronger among men. Perhaps this is related to the latent hostility many men feel toward the mother figure, and the feeling of dependency and weakness she unconsciously triggers. The male sense of masculinity often has a defensive edge that reveals underlying insecurities. Such insecurity has only become more acute with shifting gender roles, and it increases the suspiciousness and hostility between men and women. This outer conflict between the genders, however, is merely a reflection of an unresolved inner conflict. As long as the inner feminine or masculine is denied, the outer distance will only grow. When we bridge this distance from within, our attitude toward the opposite sex changes as well. We feel a deeper connection. We can talk and relate to them as if relating to parts of ourselves.
Wow.
The polarity between the sexes still exists and still causes us to be attracted and fall in love, but now it includes the desire to get closer to the feminine or the masculine. This is much different from the polarization between the genders, in which distance and hostility eventually come to the fore in the relationship and push people further away. The inner connection will vastly improve the outer connection and should be the ideal we aim for. Wow.
Whew. Wow. Yes.
We gotta jump. We're gonna do
this.
I don't know that later on. I don't know if it's gonna be live. By a show of hands, you know how the internet gets with us. Yes. Who wants that part live later on? I will do this, and we'll focus on just that little part coming up. But the different types, I saw that last night. I looked through that, and that was dope. So the old live, or you want us to have a perfect recording and we jump in the chat room, or you wanted us to do it live and we just interact? I mean, I don't have no problem doing it live, but I'll tell you one thing. If we do it live and it starts messing up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We have to turn it around.
Right.
And then we'll have a chat room thing going on. But I like it where we can do it the one shot. You know, I don't know what happened with the internet. Miko in the house. Sister Miko,
Hi,
we need
Sister
you to come
Miko.
on and express your views on these things, because only you can do it. Okay, we'll do it live. And let's say maybe around a certain time. You pick a time, East Coast time. But not too late.
For tonight?
Yeah.
For tonight?
Yeah.
What's a good time for you? 9, 10, 8? What? What do you want? 8 is 12.
Because it's midnight for me. Because what I'll do is that if I commit to 8, I'm not going to say it's going to be a 1 hour, 2 hour show. We'll roll off until infinity.
Okay,
and then
so 8 o'clock is good then.
Okay, so I'm going to make a link. Everybody, it's not made as soon as the show is over, but give me 15, 20 minutes or maybe an hour, because I want to make the link with the banner and all that stuff. And then we'll put that up and we'll go into this, because this is really piquing my interest even more so, because I didn't have a chance to go in as deep as I wanted to. I brushed over things.
Yeah.
I'm going to go back and look at this too, because I'm like, God, dog, I learned some things that I kind of instinctively knew. It's almost like that contractor that never went to school and never read a book on what he does, and being a master contractor. He's learned at the hands of the masters, but now he gets his hands on the book. He already kind of knows what to do, but it's confirmed when he sees how methodical and the different steps incrementally it takes to build a house or do some type of construction project, and it confirms it. So I've been confirmed. A lot of these things were fragmented in my mind, but I knew it. It's like I knew it. So now I want to go back in an organized way and look over this stuff. But yeah, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time tonight, we're going to continue this, and we're going to have fun with it, and we'll tell some jokes with it and tell some stories with it, and we'll enjoy that knowledge that's coming there. So it'll be a swirl, the righteous word swirl, not running no cracker now. I'm talking about it'll be a swirl of information.
Yes.
And
It'll be, Naima, here's the book. Here's the book. I just posted the name of the book, and let me see. PDF drive.com. Check pdfdrive.com and see if you can find it there, instead of having to go. What the heck is going on? Hang on a second, Brother Lance. Let me just
take your time. Take your time.
Please.
Take your time. And also too, like I say, I want to get into more the participation where we discuss, and we'll do that on the conference. And what I want, and we can also do it on the show where we drop the link and have people come in live. And we can also do that tonight at some points. We'll read and get it out there, and then we can bring people in if they want. I know some people are shy, they want to show their face. You don't have to show your face. Just come on in with your voice. And if there's any points or any experiences that reading this stuff has stoked in your mind and brought to the surface, or some type of angle or perspective that you have that can add on to the subject, then by all means, just say, hey, drop the link. I want to come in. I want to say something. But don't say that and start talking
my name is Bella.
And you know what I mean? Keep it on the topic.
Right.
If we talk about UFOs or Martians or something, that's one thing. But I've seen it on other shows where people just run with it and go to something like, what are you talking about? It's crazy. It's like we did a show.
Go ahead.
We did this show. Yeah, we did a show. What was it about? It wasn't the Christianity show that we did last week. That was really successful. But it was a show afterward that had nothing to do with that. But a person left a comment in the comment section, kind of like coming at us about that other show. How are you going to go to another video and comment on another show? I let it sit up there. You know what I mean? But it's like, where's your mind? Or you just had a blind rage. I'm going to type on any show and just go after him. Yeah, Christianity is proper. It's right. I'm not saying knocking anybody for their beliefs, but don't knock me for expressing how I feel, and that's the way. Oh yeah, when we do our comedy show, we're going to do it. I keep saying that, and but there's certain things major that, and I'm waiting for certain things in my shipment of equipment that will make the comedy show better. I just don't want it to be something where you hear things I want to be able to show my face. Not that you don't know what I look like, but I start imitating people and changing my voice. I want you to see the full thing, and we're going to have fun. And I'm not even saying I'm some comedian. I'm just a funny guy sometimes. I can't go up there and talk about I am a stand-up comedian and go up there and flop. But I'm that guy who, when you hang out with, you like the jokes keep coming and we have fun with no pressure. I'm not saying I'm a boxer, but if I knock a person out, well, if you want to call me that, fine. But I'm not calling myself that. You know?
Right.
You okay?
Huh?
You okay? Yeah, sweetheart, you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. I'm good. Yes.
So we're gonna go on and give us your final word and wrap it down. But 8:00 tonight Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna make the link after eating a little something. We're gonna put it out there, and I'm gonna put it out there on Telegram, on WhatsApp, on Facebook, and all of that stuff. Also, do me a favor, there's something up with my Facebook a like page, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not just into the numbers and all this stuff, but they mess with the numbers on YouTube. The subscribers are frozen, right? Within a range of 20, you gain 20, you lose 25. You gain 15, you lose 50, whatever. And they're playing those games again, right? So that's okay as long as I know we're reaching the people. But on my Facebook page, the numbers are frozen.
Really?
And I'm just below the 5,000 mark. Okay. So it's like, I need some folks to go over there
and hit the like button.
Like on that page. Yeah. If you didn't already. And I'm going to put the link right here and drop it in. I just need 80 of y'all, maybe like 50 of y'all if you can.
All 68 of you that are here right now that hasn't signed up on his Facebook page. You see, Brother Lance, when we don't do the hyper aggressive shows, we don't get too many people watch it.
Well, see, that's why I say we have to satisfy everybody. Because even the hyper aggressive shows don't appeal to everybody.
Exactly.
And then we go on a more intellectual level, a psychological level. Oh, that's boring. They're not talking about,
I know.
But we do talk about everything. And sometimes, like, okay, if on a track, if you're a race car driver, you have to have the smarts to know that you can put the pedal to the metal on a straightaway. But as soon as you hit a turn or a curve on that racetrack, you better ease up off the gas or you're going to go flying off the track.
That's right.
So we can't we're not going to be a one-way Charlie. I do love the rant shows where I can just open up full throttle and just go on in. I can do that for hours and hours. It's not a problem. But we do have to temper it with some information that sometimes okay, you may not like everything that's in the lunchbox when you go to school, and you will have that cookie or two, a sweet thing, but the other food is there for nutrition, for your nourishment, and you need that too.
Right.
So, I can go on and on. I can go 6 hours a day ranting, just pick stuff out the sky and just rant. Blah, 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 blah. And maybe it'll be interesting. But guess what? You'll probably get bored of that also. Because if you're forced to eat your favorite food every single day, that favorite food is not going to look appealing after a while. If you love chocolate cake and you say, man, I just love me some chocolate cake, and we say things we don't mean, I could eat that every day. And I put you in a situation to say, okay, I'm locking you in where you have to eat this every day. What are we going to have for breakfast? Chocolate cake. Okay, I love that. What are we going to have for lunch? Chocolate cake. Oh, that's not so bad. What are we going to have for dinner? Chocolate cake. God, dog. That's all I ate today. You said you can eat it every day, so you're going to eat it every day. After a day and a half, trust me. And you better have a whole lot of toilet paper too. But you're not going to want that chocolate cake like that.
Well,
you're not going to want it.
You can't eat chocolate no more.
Oh no! I had some kind of healthy chocolate the other day. A couple pieces.
You sure it wasn't X-Lax?
What? Well, like I told you that story about some friends of mine back in the 70s, and they had a young daughter who might have been like 3-4 years old, and the boys had their room, which was the attic, and it was split up. It was 3 of them, and the girl had split up, and the little baby used to sleep with the mother because she was a little baby, little crib, but she was walking. So it was that little transitional phase. So, the little girl who was, I don't know if she's 4 years old, 3.5 years old, whatever. The mother used to do hair in the house. You know, she
Right.
had a room, like a little salon and stuff like that. And a little girl would, you know, walk off, and after a while she's doing her hair. You know, I'm not gonna say the name. Let's just say the name and make up a different name.
Right.
Donna, where are you? Because she went out of sight. You know, I'm right here in the other room, mommy. I'm reading the book. She didn't say it like that because she was so young, but she let her know that she was in the next room, whatever have you.
I'm right
So
here.
they were. Yeah, exactly. Wait a second. That sounded too real. I thought it was cookie.
Mommy, I'm right here.
No, but you know there's some crazy white men that like to pay women to talk like that when they're, you know.
Yeah, well, maybe I should change my profession.
A phone entertainer.
Yes. Make some money. I need to buy my ticket for Ghana.
Watch, I'm gonna get 3 emails later on. Like, you know, she was joking and everything, but she sounded kind of good. I need her. Just hook it up, Lance. We're gonna 3-way conversation, and you mute yourself and let her talk to me that way while I make this jaw Vaseline diminish. They're out there, trust me. That's a whole other show. And because of my connection to the adult entertainment world back in the day, I can tell you a whole lot of stories, but that's a whole other show. That's a sexual twilight zone that sometimes you and talk about, and sometimes, oh God, the crazy people that are out here. But yeah, so you know,
yes. So little girl, yes.
Right. Mm-hmm. So she's wandering around the house, and the mother had a bunch of customers, and they were laughing and talking, and it went a little too long before she checked out to see where she was. So she found herself from the second floor, and the second floor had the little salon there, but it was separated off from the bedrooms, and there was an attic, right? In the attic, little girl Donna, I'll call her Donna, walked up the steps. So the open part was for 2 brothers. And there was another part in the back of the attic where one of the brothers was so independent.
Okay.
He's like, yo, I'm not coming in here stealing my stuff. He put a lock on the door, 2 locks on the door. So you ain't going in there. Plus, I suspect he had magazines hidden under the mattress and wanted to indulge in his relaxing sleeping pill-like activities at night before he went to sleep. So he was a very private person, right? So now he left out one day and didn't lock the door. Both locks were open. She found herself up there. The boys weren't home. The other sisters that were older weren't home. They were at school and at work, and the mother was down there doing hair, laughing and having a good time. And she felt, the little girl, it was time to explore, because mommy's not going to see me or ask for me maybe a little longer. So she crawled up the steps, and she had a little nightie on. She was clean, but it put a little nightie on her. And she pushed the door open to the back part of the attic where the private brother stayed, and found his bowl of candy. Wasn't much, but she ate the candy. And there was something else looking like candy that had foil wrapped around it, where you can break the thing like a pill and take it out. And it wasn't like a colorful, here's a Tootsie Roll, and here's a Mary Jane, and those little candies, that little candy, whatever, whatever it may be. She ate those up, and that messed her up more. So she ate this other thing, and the mother called, Donna, where are you? Oh, mommy, I'm coming. Where are you? What are you doing upstairs? And she pushed the door in because it was unlocked, and she came downstairs, and she behaved herself because she even had more candy in her hand that the mother didn't see after eating that thing that was wrapped looking like medicine. So the day goes by, a couple of hours, and it's time to eat, and they eat, and the customers are gone, and Donna walks off, little girl walks off to sit down in the other room. And while everybody else is still eating because they fed her first, because she's a little baby, she's a little girl, she comes back and stands in the doorway. She goes, and it's like, Donna, what's wrong with you? And so they got up, and they saw on the couch where she was sitting quiet, uncharacteristically for a long time, that there was brown matter on the couch. And she stood in the doorway, but they noticed brown footprints on the white carpet. And as she cried, it became evident because they didn't know what they were looking at. Like, she was old enough to go to the bathroom, so it couldn't be that. But it snuck up on her by surprise because she ate all that candy and didn't realize that the other thing was X-Lax.
Oh my God, poor baby.
So now she cried. Between each cry was a fart. And as she
bloody mess.
Something was running down her leg that she couldn't control. Poor little Donna. She should know not to go into a brother's room or any grown folks' room and start eating away. And they figured it out because the brother who was private, he didn't get home yet. So he went up into his room first, realized he didn't lock the door, and figured, well, nobody went in here. And wanted to get a piece of candy, and she didn't even remove the evidence. She left the wrappers all up in there. He flew down the steps so mad and saw what was going on, and he was cruel with his little sister. Serves you right, Dollar. You went in there and ate up all my candy, and you ate the X-Lax. They're like, don't say that to her. She's a little baby. I don't care. You went in the room. Well, you should have left it unlocked, but she shouldn't have went in there. So she was paralyzed with embarrassment and shock and the fact that she got caught.
And pain.
Got up and grabbed her and ran with her like a ticking time bomb. You know when they're in the movies and grab the time bomb and throw it out the window and then it explodes? Well, he grabbed her, lifted up her little nightie, but she didn't have no drawers or no diapers, which would have saved the day, and sat her down, and even on the seat, because it was on her leg, it was a big mess.
Oh my gosh, poor baby.
Big mess. So when I came over to visit right after that happened and saw them all screaming, and I saw this with my own eyes, I said, I knew what it was. I said, who walked doo-doo prints inside? I saw the little feet. I knew who it was. And she was weak. Oh, she was weak.
Oh, poor baby.
Washed her up, and she just with the diaper, and she cried herself to sleep, but weak. And they kept giving her water and little solutions, to help with the electrolytes and stuff like that. And even after she was okay, I think I came back over the next day and I was like, "How you doing, Donna?" "I'm okay." But the embarrassment lingered.
Should never eat anything that she don't put on again.
That was funny. So, on that note, we ended up on a joke. I hope everybody enjoyed the information. We always tell stories and jokes, and I don't know. I lived a life where it's like the creator said, we're going to have you have all these experiences because in 2021, you're going to do a podcast. And I want to also make another announcement too, that tomorrow at some point, we're going to have a little extra fun show, not a comedy show, but a reminiscent type show. The reason being is that on August 11th, 2011 was the first show that I ever did on Blog Talk. So it'll be 10 years that we've been doing shows, and we've been online over 20 years with the other endeavors, but it's a 10-year anniversary of doing shows, and it's so different. And I'm going to try to find that first show where I was so stiff. Welcome to the LanceScurv Show. Today we're going to talk about whatever. And it was just a whole big difference, and you just never know when you take that first step in a certain direction where you're going to end up. So, we started out with those, and it was just calling on the phone, and I would upload them to YouTube, and I'll explain all of that tomorrow. But yeah,
come and show some support, guys. Let's support Brother Lance. He's
20 years online, but he is doing shows.
Yeah, I dropped his information in the chat. So yeah, I
can't believe it. And it wasn't, I started out like twice a week or something like that because I was still doing other things. Right. But then when I started, as the year went by, we started doing shows every day and everything. So then now we're doing multiple things a day, and other people are coming on and having regular, and I love it. But with over 4,000 videos, I'll tell you exactly how many videos we have up. I'll tell you exactly how much we have up. And every video wasn't a show. Of course, we have live things and things we shoot in the street, but most of them are shows.
Right.
And let me see. We have 4,358 videos as of today, and this particular one will be 4,359.
Right.
But so as of tomorrow, it'll be 10 years we've been doing shows.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Well, no, thank you. And I'm thanking you because you're helping to go along. And like I told you last night, when I said that, I shared something from years ago and said, we've been putting in the work for a long time. And you said, no, you've been putting in the work. Listen, let me tell you something. Just because you may not have been there on August 11th, 2011, you were out in the world having experiences, learning things. That's what you bring to the table. So you've been putting in the work just as much as I have. It's just that you may not have been there, but we benefit from you being here. So you've been putting in the work. You see what I mean? So when a person goes to a job and the people who are hiring don't know that person and they want to see your resume and they say, oh my God, they've been doing this for the last 30 years and they have this degree and this experience and they were on this project with this other company and won this award. You've been putting in the work. It's just that you may have showed up a little later, but you've been doing it and we benefit from it now. And that's why I'm always appreciative of those who come onto the show and share their experiences, and especially you and, the whole list of everybody. I'm not going to go down the whole list. Right. Somebody get mad, but it's everybody, whether it's something on a academia level or something on a straight hood experience level.
Right.
Whatever it is, you've been putting in the work, because if you can make it this far as a black man or a black woman in this world, the way they come against us and still be intact and still be in one piece, you are brilliant. You are brilliant. And I don't care what the white man says, whether you have a degree or not. You have experiences and you know the deal about life, and you've avoided the minefields and traps that have been put out here for us. So congratulations to everybody. And I thank everybody for coming here and being on this platform collectively, because a plane can't fly with no air.
Right.
A fire can't burn with no air. You may not see the air, but it's there. And without it, those things can't function. Did I say function? Function.
See where your mind is at.
Those things can't F-U-C-K. Well, yeah, without air, ain't nothing F-U-C-K, right? So it's not a Freudian slip, it's the truth.
It's
we need that air. And we need our collective experiences. And whether a person comes once a month, once every 6 months, once a year, every day, several times a day, we need it. Keep throwing that wood into the fire and keep the fire burning like the Olympic flame, because we all got stories to tell in different ways. And I appreciate everybody.
That's true.
10 years tomorrow, y'all. So do the final word and let's move on and let's do our thing in 8 o'clock tomorrow in the morning.
Let's see. Final word. This was such an eye-opening little segment that we did here, because as I was reading it, earlier, I actually started reading last night and fell out, like certain people also confessed. And so I woke up early to try to start reading some of it, just to, know exactly where we were going with it. And I was like, oh, damn, I resemble some of these remarks. I see myself in certain aspects. And so it's causing me now to want to read more and to look into my look, which basically means look into myself, and see where I was making errors in relationships, or where I might make errors in relationships. So as we go further with this, folks, I just want, if you're able to pick it up on PDF drive, go ahead and download the book, and you can peruse the chapters and see what you like, whatever, and get to this one. It's in the 300s. You can't miss it. The title actually is the same title as what's in the book. Otherwise, from that, just go out there, make it a wonderful day, enjoy your day. I just want to give a shout out to all our moderators. Sister Angie love you, sweetie. Sister Sekhmet, more love to you. Sister Kim C, haven't seen you in a while, but I love you. Sister Miko, love you much. We need to talk. Am I missing anyone? I think that. Sister T, Miss T.
But he's there too. Griffin, Miss Tiva Station.
Griffin, yes. yes. See, Jack needs to come on a little more often. We tend to forget our male moderator because he's not bringing his masculine energy to the platform.
Trust me, he's observing and watching. If I was Muhammad Ali, he would be Howard Bingham. That's
I
our joke.
know.
He's
I
Howard Bingham.
know.
He's
I
very
know.
powerful. And very powerful. I won't say, but he's a very powerful individual with a wealth of experience in certain areas of expertise,
Right.
more than you can imagine.
Wow.
And that's why I know he probably wouldn't come on and click and whatever. He's in the shadows kind of guy, but he's a powerful person. He will always be an honorary moderator as well as a moderator. And wherever you see Jack Griffin, I'm telling you, I've known him in person for so many decades, going back into the 70s. You're to give him the utmost trust, and whatever he says goes. I sign off on it. If he said, give me your credit card and your debit card and the PIN code, give it to him. He'll tell you why. He's not going to ask you that. He's not asking nobody for money. He's okay in that department. But what I'm saying is that full range. If he showed up at the airport here now and he came, I said, okay, and if I had a car, I'm not driving now. Here, take the car, go wherever you want. Here's some money. He wouldn't need it, but here's some money. Here's the keys to the house. Do whatever you want. It's beyond trust. Trust is not even a word that I can use to describe him and my other inner circle friends that I have, which are brothers and beyond brothers to me that I love dearly. And there's a certain few that are there that I'll name them and not blow them up. And we know Jack Griffin is not his real name, but and you know Jack Griffin, you know what that means, right? You know why he says his name is Jack Griffin?
No, you didn't tell me.
Well, the original movie, The Invisible Man.
Okay.
What was his name? Jack Griffin.
Jack Griffin. Okay.
So he's the Invisible Man. So this is his persona. You're not going to see him.
Nice.
He'll pop up here and there and make a mention of that when you see him. I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up now. I'm here. I was always here.
Yeah. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
What time do you want the show to be tomorrow night? I put 8 o'clock, but I'm sure you want it to be sooner.
Oh, you mean for tonight?
No. For your anniversary show.
Oh, for the anniversary show, we might make it a little sooner because, there's other things I'm going to be doing. But no, it could be a little early. It could be maybe like from 10 for me and 6 for you, because I will take that one and go longer.
Okay.
I'll go longer. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to look for certain clips from some of those old shows. Right. I'm not going to go through all of them, but if I can play it and everything's working right now, on that note, because they may come and say, we're not going to have no 10-year anniversary, black man doing shows and thousands of shows. Maybe you can play some of the old clips because there's certain notable clips. That's going to require me to take time and look through. So I may get 5 to 10 little clips that are notable of things that you need to hear, like the time the 2 pastors got on the show and were arguing and rolling around in the dirt. And one was about to start cussing. That was classic. That was from like 8 years ago. You know what I mean? If I can find that one. There's shows when we had that adult sex show and we were talking about the old things. And that was like, oh man, that was like it's got so many hits, but it's not going to get monetized. It's not going to get, put in the algorithms, but they had some funny moments in that one. That was
crazy. I listened to a couple of those. Oh my God. Oh.
I'm embarrassed at the things that I said. But
you
had some white people call in after the end, and one dude was like so rigid in his sex life that he disagreed to like 99.9%, and he was in the background. Ain't nobody gonna do that to me. Oh, y'all are nasty, but he's still on it.
Yes. He was taking notes. He was taking notes.
Yeah, he was taking notes. He was probably mad because he didn't do them things, right? Or have it done to him. Y'all are nasty. You got men out here like that they want all this freakishness done, and as soon as they do it, I can't believe you did. Get away from me. No, what's wrong with you, man? But that's another show. We'll wrap it down, and just thank you for having me.
Thank you all.
And everybody in the chat room. And tomorrow makes 10 years we've been doing shows, but of course we've been online for 20 years. So anybody out there who says that, it is me the reason why everybody came, where were you before? You know what I mean? Come on, please.
Exactly.
Thank
you, everyone. Thank you, Brother Lance, and we'll see you later. Remember, 8 o'clock tonight for the live show.
Yes, Eastern Standard Time.
Yes, indeed.
As well as 8 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time.
Yes,
all
indeed.
Right?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. All right. Everybody, I can't wait. The countdown begins.